The key to the penthouse lock felt heavy in his hand, but the worn construction jacket he chose to wear weighed far more. He looked down at the frayed cotton, realizing that absolute control could only be measured by what you willingly surrendered.
Li Qingshan was a man who understood leverage, not the financial kind, though he commanded assets that spanned continents and industries, the kind held in silent reserve.
Today, he was wearing the patina of poverty, $5,000 a month, a construction site laborer. It was a disguise, not a degradation.
It allowed him to move through the world unseen, unburdened by the dynastic weight of his true identity. The legendary Lord of the Shadow Palace, chairman of the $1 trillion Storm Fund.
He sought simplicity, a sliver of quiet life after 16 years spent mourning a loss that had reshaped the global landscape of power.
This quiet was now scheduled to be interrupted by a blind date. The cafe was modern, sharp, and aggressively chic, the antithesis of his deliberate camouflage.
He arrived early, sitting at a small table, the sounds of espresso machines a dull counterpoint to the billion-dollar decisions currently being executed globally at his silent command.
Then Suwani arrived. She moved with the confidence of inherited wealth, refined by earned success. CEO of Su Group, a young woman who had already managed billions. She approached his table, her posture radiating expectation and cold calculation. She didn't bother with pleasantries. Her assessment was swift, brutal, and entirely focused on the numbers. "My time is short," she stated, folding her hands neatly on the tabletop. PhD in economics, CEO of Su Group. Assets 30. Her voice was measured, completely devoid of warmth. "I have one requirement for a partner. 2 words: obedient."
Now, you are Li Qingshan, construction worker, $5,000 a month, widowed with a 25-year-old son. Assets.
Li Qingshan did not shift in his chair. He let her words hang in the air, the implication clear. He was mathematically unworthy. The silence that followed was expensive, weighted with the unspoken knowledge that his construction boots likely cost more than her entire quarterly salary. He met her gaze, a slight, almost imperceptible tilt of his head. "You have a 25-year-old son? How did you dare come on a blind date with—" she pressed, her eyebrows arching in genuine disdain. He offered a rare, thin smile. "My biggest flaw," he stated, his voice calm and low, "is that I am not very—" The psychological game had begun. Suwani was used to immediate deference. She leaned back, confusion replacing arrogance for a fleeting moment. "So, here to mock?"
"It's clearly you mocking me," he replied simply. He glanced past her shoulder. "My son told me my blind date was a mature single mother. Aren't you a young girl just messing with me? Table 2?
"Sorry," she snapped, a hint of genuine annoyance finally cracking her professional facade. "This is table—"
He began to rise. "What do you mean? If you got it wrong, why are you— You want me to?" she asked, disbelief coloring her tone. "Since I was young, no man has ever missed a chance to spend more time with me. But this guy is actually asking you to leave. Mr. Rich, gorgeous, and fit? Are you not interested in?"
Not.
His blunt dismissal was the first real crack in Suwani's unassailable fortress of self-control. She was intrigued, perhaps for the first time, by something that could not be purchased or commanded. A man who looked like societal refuse, but acted with the quiet authority of a king.
You are interesting, she mused, switching tactics. A stubborn guy could be fun to teach. Working construction is fine. I don't need a partner to be rich. I'm the richest. About being widowed, that basically just means single. You've got a son?
Doesn't matter. I think we could give it a— The offer was generous, stated with the authority of someone granting a huge favor. Li Qingshan shook his head slowly. "I don't understand what you're thinking. I'm not your matchmaking."
She pressed on, seeing a new challenge. You could be. I can arrange for you to stay by my side as my boyfriend and driver. You don't need to do dirty or tiring work anymore. Just drive the car for me. That's all.
As for your son, I can arrange for him to work at Sue.
He looked at her, not with anger, but with an almost paternal pity. Miss, you should visit the hospital for brain tests. I'm over 40, and you want to date?
Her face flushed, the humiliation of his crude, absolute rejection hitting her harder than any financial setback ever could. What? Someone like me? Rich? Beautiful? Being interested in a middle-aged guy like you? Shouldn't you feel...
The psychological barrier shattered. No one spoke to Suani this way. A man dares to insult me, she whispered, her eyes narrowing. All right, you're the one then. I won't let you off thee.
The situation escalated quickly with the arrival of other construction managers from the Sue Group, led by a man named Manager Xiao, who recognized Li Qingshan in his work clothes. Manager Xiao, isn't this old Li? Why is this cutie skipping the construction site and hanging out in a cafe picking up?
Suani, already committed to the strange confrontation, defended him. Which eye of yours saw him picking up girls? I'm the one picking him.
The managers laughed, confident in their superior status and their ability to humiliate the laborer. They insulted his clothes, his odor, and his social standing.
They were the subtle cracks in his chosen identity, petty reminders of the world's perception of him.
Seriously, still working construction at your age? How'd you end up like this? Lying to young girls? Shame on you. Li Qingshan remained still, the center of the storm. What's wrong with working, earning money with my own hands? I'm not ashamed of. The insults grew vicious. One of the men accidentally, or perhaps deliberately, knocked a drink onto the floor. You like drinking, don't you? I'll make sure you drink. Get down right now and lick it clean, or else have Brother Xiao fire you.
No one would hire you to lay...
The atmosphere froze. Li Qingshan's hand moved, too fast to be seen clearly by the laborers. He grabbed the wrist of the man demanding the cleanup, his grip locking like steel.
You drink it, Li Qingshan commanded, his voice utterly flat. Let go, or I'll call the...
Manager Xiao stepped forward, emboldened by the Sue Group's name. I'm the site manager for Sue Group. I even know people in the patrol office. Just for touching me earlier, I could have you locked up for...
Suani stepped between them, her loyalty to the man who rejected her immediate and unexpected. A construction site manager for Sue Group. So arrogant, huh? He's my boyfriend. I'd like to see how you make him pay for...
The conflict intensified. The laborers scoffed at the idea of the glamorous CEO dating a brick mover. They demanded she abandon him, threatened her with the wrath of the Sue Group, a threat that was deeply ironic given her role. One of the men made the mistake of raising his hand. Li Qingshan moved. It was a precise, controlled action, a slap delivered with the authority of someone who had forgotten more about combat than they would ever learn.
The man stumbled, bewildered.
It was in that moment of chaos that the final laborer, stunned into clarity, recognized Suani. You're the president of Sue Group, Suani. Mr. Sue, I didn't know it was you. I was blind. Forgive me. Don't stoop to my... Suani, still breathing heavily from the confrontation, stared at the stunned Manager Zhao, the man who had mocked her boyfriend and threatened her. She was silent, enjoying the consequence of his arrogance.
Li Qingshan spoke first, his tone one of quiet finality.
From now on, you're not the construction site manager for Sue Group. Resign and leave by...
Please, Mr. Sue, I know I was wrong.
Not leaving? Wait for an investigation. You'll end up in jail. Been a manager for years. You've probably taken quite a... The threat was precise, surgical, and effective.
The humiliated manager bolted.
Suani turned back to Li Qingshan, her eyes sparkling with something dangerous and thrilling. How should I thank you? How about be my boyfriend? I don't get it. A man in his 40s. What made you like...
He was silent. She mistook his pause for fear or confusion. Right now, I just fancy your type. You have two choices: obey me and be my boyfriend, or refuse me. Refuse and I'll accuse you of harassment and lock you up for years.
You know the power of the Sioux family. Don't doubt my...
You're playing with.
Relax, obey, and be my boyfriend, and I won't hurt you. I just need a placeholder, just to appease my... She paused, a genuine hint of panic in her eyes. What? Are you really scared? I'll do something too.
I'm in my 40s. What am I afraid? Li Qingshan replied, the shadow of a smile returning. All right, since that's the case, from now on, you're my boyfriend. Su unease.
The life he had chosen, the rough clothes, the simple existence, was a shield, but it also masked a promise made 16 years ago to his late wife, Hui Hui. He had promised to protect her family, the Zhao family, despite their petty natures.
His son, Li Yongxia, the actual chairman of the $100 billion Yongxia Group, had been quietly propping up the Zhaos for years, all at Li Qingshan's silent direction.
Dad, Li Yunxia said later that day, watching his father put on the construction gear again. Can't you just stay home and enjoy life? I bought you a lakeside villa. You can fish by the lake every day. Still not enough?
Then I'll get you 10 housekeepers at the villa, all of them charming. Pick one and marry her. She can be my stepmom. I won't.
Li Qingshan shook his head gently. In my heart, there's only your... He paused, the silence heavy with 16 years of grief. I'm fine. By the way, how's the matter I asked you to handle for the Zhao?
Don't worry. Over the years, I've been quietly helping them using Yunxia Group and its subsidiaries. But, Dad, do you really think it's worth it? The Zhao family are just ungrateful.
They're still your mom's relatives. I promised her I'd take care of them. Tomorrow is your grandmother's 70th birthday party. It's held at the Zhao family.
The following day, Li Qingshan arrived at the Zhao villa on his beat-up scooter, still wearing his laborer's clothes. He knew exactly what awaited him: contempt and humiliation. His arrival was met with immediate scorn. His late wife's siblings and the matriarch treated him like dirt tracked in from the street. Big brother, third sister, been years. Mom's 70th birthday, isn't it?
Who's your third sister? My sister's been gone for years. Stop acting close. Heard you're still at construction sites. Having a low-level worker like you as family, it's...
They mocked his scooter, his salary, and his continued poverty.
The depth of their ingratitude was astonishing, especially considering that the Zhao family's recent success, a coveted billion-dollar deal with the Sioux Group, was attributed by them to their own grandson, Zhao Jichang, and his supposed friend, Chairman Li of Yunxia Group.
They refused Li Qingshan a seat at the main table, reserving spots for Director Li and the esteemed guests.
You're a construction worker, a struggling man at the bottom of society. How could you compare to the chairman of Yunxia? The Zhao matriarch spat. Who told you to show up? A man in his 40s still working construction.
And you think you can come here to celebrate my birthday? The true breaking point came when Li Qingshan produced a memorial photo of his late wife, Hui Hui. Mom, Hui Hui is your biological daughter. Isn't it right for me to bring her to see? Right? What right? Not only is today my birthday, but Mr. Li will be here soon. Imagine him seeing a memorial photo displayed. What a disgrace. Take that photo and get out of here. Mom, don't worry. You won't offend Mr. Li. Even if he sees the photo, he'll kneel and bow to.
This statement was met with scorn and outright violence. Zhao Jichang, emboldened, grabbed the portrait. Making Mr. Li kneel before your wife? You're asking for...
Li Qingshan moved again, his self-control fracturing. He delivered a swift, brutal strike to Zhao Jichang, retrieving the photo. But the moment was poisoned.
The family turned on him, demanding he apologized for the violence and the curse of bringing a dead person's photo. I care about the living, not the dead, the matriarch declared coldly.
This irreversible betrayal, the blatant disrespect for his deceased wife, whom he had protected even in death, sealed the Zhao family's fate.
The matriarch,
wanting to appear decisive to the approaching Chairman Li, took the final, drastic step. Our Zhao family must take a stand. I'm now officially announcing that Zhao Shenhui is expelled from our family records.
She'll no longer exist in the Zhao family. And you, from today onward, will have no ties with the Zhao family.
Li Qingshan looked at the matriarch, his eyes reflecting 16 years of broken promises and wasted effort. You don't realize that the only reason your Zhao family is where it is today is because of Huihui, and now you're kicking her out.
Just then, Li Yansha, Li Qingshan's son, arrived, the chairman of Yansha Group. He walked past the stunned Zhao family members, straight to his father, and knelt beside the memorial photo of his mother.
Mom, sorry, son.
The room plunged into absolute, terrified silence.
The man they had mocked, the man they had scorned as a laborer, was the father of their benefactor. Li Yansha immediately clarified the situation, his voice hard. The Zhao family is heartless and selfish. What do you think we should do? It depends on what your mom thinks. They're family, after all, Li Qingshan replied, looking down at the photo.
Li Yunsha understood the silent command. It seems like my mom doesn't want to see those ungrateful people. If that's the case, then let Yunsha handle.
Within 5 minutes, Li Yunsha, through a series of rapid phone calls, systematically dismantled the entire Zhao enterprise. All contracts with Yunsha Group and its subsidiaries, including the critical Qinhua Industries, Chentan Construction, Tally Trade, and Badan Logistics, were terminated. Everything your Zhao family prides itself on is because my son secretly paved the way for you. It was all out of respect for his late mother, Huihui, who you expelled from the Zhao family. But now you want to kick Huihui out of the Zhao family.
That spells the end of your future. The Zhao family is...
The collapse was instantaneous, total, and irreversible. The once arrogant family members were reduced to crawling, begging for mercy.
Don't forget the Zhao family is your mother's family. You can't be this, the matriarch pleaded.
Li Yunsha looked at her, his voice devoid of emotion. You bullied my dad and insulted my mom's photo. Did you ever think we were?
The disaster seemed to pause only when manager Guo from the Su Group arrived, bearing the billion-dollar contract for the matriarch's birthday. The Zhaos, already in internal collapse, seized onto this thread of hope, believing the Su Group's contract meant salvation and proved that Li Yunsha's power was limited.
Then Suani herself arrived, radiating sharp fury.
Who dared mess with my man? You think I won't ensure he's got no place in Jiangqing?
Suani, the CEO, confronted the manager she had dispatched. Told you to bring a gift to my man? Messing with my... The manager, bewildered, confirmed that Li Qingshan was indeed Suani's.
The Zhaos, in their final desperate gamble, claimed that Suani must be interested in their grandson, Zhao Jichang.
How could this happen? Isn't he a single guy in his 40s? What does he...
Suani confirmed their fears, looking at Li Qingshan with open possessiveness. The man Miss Su has her eyes on is really Li Qing.
Li Qingshan, having fulfilled his promise to his late wife and witnessed the resulting chaos, simply told Suani, "You can take back that order, because Madame Zhao is no longer my mother-in-law. My late wife has been kicked out of the Zhao family.
I have no ties with them." The Zhao family, having systematically severed every thread of grace, was left ruined and alone.
The psychological conflict with Suani was far more intricate. She was facing her own irreversible event, a forced engagement to Jiang Yuanhan, the heir of the powerful Jiang family from the imperial capital.
The marriage was a political move by her elders, particularly her grandfather, to elevate the Su family status. She was desperate, trying to use seduction, force, and manipulation to break the engagement. She even attempted to drug Li Qingshan at a roadside stall, believing that losing her virtue to a laborer would make her undesirable to the Jiang family.
"I drugged you, yet you drank it. Why are you?" she demanded, tearful and frustrated in her penthouse apartment.
Li Qingshan sat calmly, having neutralized the potent dose immediately upon ingestion. That's none of your business. Just get this straight. We're not really a couple, so show some respect. If you resist marriage, avoid self-degradation.
In 3 days, I'll help you break free from the chains of...
I said it. Don't ever degrade yourself. I promise you, in 2 days, no one will force you.
His promise solidified her trust, even as her fear of the Jiang family grew.
The Su family manor was an architectural statement of dynastic ambition. When Li Qingshan arrived in his simple attire, he faced not just Su Ani's enraged family, but the full, chilling weight of the Jiang delegation.
Su Ani's grandfather, Master Su, greeted the Jiang family head and the young master, Jiang Yuanhan, with groveling respect.
The betrothal gifts were astronomical: a mansion in Dragon Bay, a limited edition Rolls-Royce, and $100 billion contract.
This is the betrothal gift to the Su family, Master Jiang stated, exuding quiet authority.
Then the tension focused on the man in the construction jacket.
"What's your relationship with this middle-aged?" Jiang Yuanhan demanded, his handsome face contorted with cold fury.
Su Ani stepped forward, defying her entire clan. Him? He's the man I've chosen. Jiang Yuanhan, I will never marry you. Don't think about.
"You scoundrel! Su Ani, you really are truly—"
Li Qingshan watched the scene with detached precision. He was facing the full force of a capital powerhouse, a family whose political and financial influence dwarfed the Su group.
He understood that to win Su Ani's freedom, he had to destroy the Jiang family's foundation of superiority entirely.
I just hope Ani can decide her own marriage, Li Qingshan stated to Master Su. Master Su laughed, a brittle, disdainful sound. Ridiculous. You approached Ani just to connect with the Su family. Go ahead, name your price. I'll make sure you get the same benefits you're getting from the Jiang family. How? You're wrong. I'm not here for gain this time, Li Qingshan countered, unwavering. If the Su family can end the engagement, whatever benefits you're getting from the Jiang family, I'll make sure you get the same for me. How?
He said, "Su family." A Su cousin sneered. "Your son's company only has a mere $100 billion, and you dare to boast about giving the Su family?" "The Jiang family means nothing to me," Li Qingshan said, his voice slow and deliberate. "Whatever they can give you, I can give you 10 times, 100 times.
Jiang Yuanhan smiled, a predator's flash of teeth. Trillions for my Jiang family. That's an astronomical figure. You must think it's monopoly.
Li Qingshan reached into his pocket and pulled out a simple burner phone. He gave a quiet, singular command.
Pass my orders on behalf of Cloud Turn Fund. Inject trillions into Su.
A tense, disbelieving silence fell. The Cloud Turn Fund was the top private equity fund in the entire Dragon Nation, controlling assets that underpinned national stability. No one below the highest levels of government could command it.
Then Master Su's phone rang. His face went white.
Just now, the Fan Fund invested trillions into the Su Group. How's that even? Li Qingshan placed the burner phone back in his jacket. I am the chairman of Storm.
The elders and cousins looked at him with panicked disbelief. It was impossible for the man in the laborer's jacket to command the world's most mysterious, influential fund. They dismissed it as a massive, one-time favor.
Master Su, a man of ruthless calculation, immediately went back on his word. How is that going back on my word? We agreed before you'd give the Su family a $1 trillion deal, not a $1 trillion eye.
You can only blame yourself for being foolish, Master Su declared, firmly siding with the Jiang family's prestige over Li Qingshan's terrifying wealth. Jiang Yuanhan, confident in his own dynastic power, then escalated the conflict. He brought in his own connections, 4 giants who dominated their respective national industries: real estate, energy, pharmaceuticals, and most importantly, the master of longmen,
the leader of the top underground force in the nation. The Jiang family's network and power. What can you... Jiang Yuanhan demanded.
Li Qingshan waited. Within minutes, his own connections began to arrive. First came Lu Yugong of Heaven Palace Real Estate, then Wang Bichuan of Baichuan Energy, followed by Dongfeng Zer, the renowned Oriental doctor, and finally Han Sanrong.
The four giants brought by Jiang Yuanhan, the moment they saw Li Qingshan's new visitors, immediately paled and began to retreat, bowing in submission to the new arrivals.
Master Wu, one of the retreating figures stammered, Master Wu, do you think I can make you lower yourself too?
Wu Qinglang, the Longmen master, who had just arrived with Jiang Yuanhan, immediately bowed low to Han Sanrong. Wu Qinglang greets the master. Before you, I bow down in complete.
The original group of Jiang supporters vanished, leaving only the Jiang and Su families staring in horror.
The men Li Qingshan had summoned were not just industry leaders, they were the absolute top tier, figures who rarely appeared in public and who controlled forces far exceeding regional powers.
Looks like you lost again, cutie, Li Qingshan remarked to Suani, a faint note of amusement in his tone.
Don't celebrate too early, cutie. Next, I'll show you the true power of the Jiang family, my real edge.
Jiang Yuanhan pointed to an old man who had accompanied him, a figure introduced as Uncle 13, the Jiang family's guardian and the #1 expert in the capital.
13th uncle, kill him for me. I want him to know that competing with Jiang Yuanhan for a woman means a death penalty. I won't just kill you, I won't spare your son.
Li Qingshan, having been patient with the insults and the threats to his own life, now became absolutely still. The threat against his son was the ultimate escalation.
This one sentence seals your fate, he said quietly.
Uncle 13 lunged, a terrifying display of martial arts. Li Qingshan did not move.
He waited until the last possible second, and then, with a single contemptuous strike, the strongest fighter of the Jiang family, the top master in the imperial city, was dead.
The entire manor held its breath.
Jiang Yuanhan was paralyzed with terror, shouting, "If you dare touch me, even if you kill Uncle 13, do you really think you can take on the entire Jiang family? The Jiang family is full of experts."
Li Qingshan looked at the young man, his eyes cold and distant, already calculating the inevitable. The existence of the Jiang family. Is this your last resort? Fine. Then I'll wipe out the Jiang family and destroy all your sense of.
He picked up the phone again. The command was simple, utterly devoid of emotion, delivered to a silent listening force on the other end of the line. Give the order. Use every means to make the Jiang family vanish from Jiangqing.
Jiang Yuanhan laughed hysterically, his mind unable to comprehend the scale of the threat. One phone call can't make my Jiang family disappear. In the whole world, only the #1 force in Dragon Nation, the Palace of Shadows, can take action.
Otherwise, who dare touch my Jiang?
Even as the words left his mouth, Master Jiang, the patriarch, received a frantic call. His phone slipped from his trembling fingers.
My Jiang family, suddenly targeted by unknown forces. The family business completely collapsed. All the dirt on my family was suddenly exposed. The Jiang family investigated, raided, and all core family members arrested. My Jiang family is...
The collapse was instantaneous and total. The ancient, powerful Jiang family liquidated in the space of a phone call. Master Jiang began screaming, his mind breaking under the weight of his dynasty's sudden extinction.
Jiang Yuanhan, witnessing the absolute and final despair of his father, screamed in denial.
It was really Li Qingshan's doing. Who is he? Suani whispered, her eyes wide with a mix of awe and terror.
Only one person can do that, the few remaining Su family members stammered. That person is the master of Shadow Palace. Do you really think you are the dragon? Li Qingshan simply looked at them. They had pushed the man in the laborer's jacket beyond the breaking point of his disguise.
I didn't impersonate.
And even if someone did impersonate the sky-shrouding Dragon Lord, they wouldn't punish severely over a small matter. Dragon Lord judges those who truly deserve it. He only destroys the...
The silence returned, heavier now, filled not with terror, but with the deafening sound of approaching power.
The doors burst open. 4 imposing figures, each radiating deadly authority, entered the hall. The West War God, the East War God, the South War God, the North War God.
They ignored everyone present, marching directly toward Li Qingshan, and knelt simultaneously.
Greetings, Lord of the...
Li Qingshan looked down at Suwani, who was now staring at him, truly seeing the man behind the costume for the first time.
When have I ever lied to you? Starting today, you're...
Suwani, the powerful CEO who had demanded obedience, the woman who had risked everything to break an engagement, stepped forward and wrapped her arms around the legendary figure.
I don't want freedom, she whispered fiercely. I want.
Li Qingshan allowed the brief moment of contact. He turned to the kneeling war gods. Everyone, get. He looked at the devastated Su family elders, now groveling for acceptance from the man who had just destroyed a rival dynasty. Mr. Su, am I worthy of Ani?
Master Su was reduced to a shaking husk. Ani, being favored by you, is her blessing earned through lifetimes, and Ani is also a blessing for Jiangqing and our Su family. Lord Dragon, accepting our family ties, is indeed our Su families.
If I remember correctly, Li Qingshan replied, I've already been kicked out of the Su family, so this fortune isn't deserved by your... He turned, the powerful CEO still clinging to his arm.
Uncle, let's...
She asked, to do what's needed, what we love. The quiet of the road was profound, the clamor of dynastic collapse replaced by the steady hum of a quiet engine. He was no longer on his scooter, but in a vehicle worthy of his true rank.
Suwani sat beside him, still processing the scale of the man she had tried to command.
He had promised her freedom from the chains of wealth, and he delivered it by demonstrating wealth and power that made her entire world irrelevant. He never lied to her about his identity. He merely let her perception define him.
It was a subtle, cruel test, and she had passed.
The world now knew Li Qingshan as the Dragon Lord, the master of Shadow Palace. But Suwani knew him as the simple, stubborn man who massaged her twisted ankle and brought her scallions from his garden.
She knew the man who honored a promise to a dead woman and who would destroy a kingdom for the honor of a living one. But the future was still unwritten. He was the Lord of the Shadow Palace, a title that came with obligations that spanned the globe, responsibilities that no ordinary relationship could withstand. And she was Suwani, a woman accustomed to control, now willingly submitting to the chaos of his absolute power.
Where do you take a woman who has witnessed the swift, silent collapse of global power structures just to secure her freedom? What kind of date do you plan after you have executed your rival's entire lineage?
The relationship was sealed not by romance, but by the cold, definitive exercise of control, his over the world, and hers over her own choices. He drove on, silent and composed. She watched him, a slow smile spreading across his face. It was impossible to guess what game he would play next, or what devastating, quiet consequence would follow. But one thing was certain. The real story of the Dragon Lord and the CEO who finally found a man she couldn't break was just beginning. The true cost of the Shadow Palace is yet to be paid. To understand the ancient burden Li Qingshan carries and the next threat that will force him to reveal the depth of his power, join us in the next